On ports like these, hundreds and thousands of Greek refugees arrived from Anatolia here in Greece. It was part of the population exchange which was agreed upon during the Treaty of Lausanne that concluded the Greco-Turkish War. Why was there a population exchange? That's what you're going to learn today. Hey, good to have you back on the channel. I'm Stefan, I'm a Dutch history teacher. I make videos about history for you. If you find it interesting, well, consider subscribing and also hit that notification bell. The population exchange of 1923 was a result of the Treaty of Lausanne that concluded the Greco-Turkish War, here in Greece also known as the Asia Minor Campaign, that ended with the so-called Catastrophe. But why was this war fought? And why did Greece lose? After the First World War, Greece and Italy belonged to the victorious nations. Italy wanted to expand, but was less frustrated by its limited results. Therefore, the kingdom had its eye on the now defeated Ottoman Empire. To end Italy's imperial ambitions, the Allied leaders promised Greece access to the coastal city of Smyrna, now Izmir, and its surroundings. For Greek Prime Minister Eleftherios Venizelos, this was an opportunity to realize the Greek great idea, Megali Idea, establishing a Greek state which would include all Greek populations. On May 15, 1919, Greek troops landed at Smyrna. Soon, a confrontation with Turkish soldiers stationed there spiraled out of control and resulted in a Greek pogrom of the Turkish quarter. Around the same time, Mustafa Kemal, a former Ottoman officer that had fought at Gallipoli during World War I, arrived in northern Anatolia and realized his country would be partitioned by the victorious Allies. He convinced himself and others he would act as Turkey's savior. It is no exaggeration to say that without Kemal's audacity, Turkey might not exist today, and certainly not within its current borders. Instead, it would have been carved up in accordance with the Treaty of Sèvres, which was finally signed on the 10th of August 1920, just south of Paris. It bolstered the Turkish nationalists, and Kemal started to build an army. If the Greeks wanted to subdue this threat, they had to go into the Turkish interior. The British encouraged this. Ironically, did you know that then Colonel Ioannis Metaxas, future dictator of Greece, warned Venizelos not to go through with this? Venizelos was soon voted out of office, but the campaign continued. As the Greek army advanced, atrocities against Muslim civilians were carried out. On the flip side, Turkish forces targeted Pontic Greeks who lived in the north of Anatolia. Killings of Greeks by Ottoman forces already occurred before this war. By the end of 1921, the Greek advance began to tire, and they weren't able to deliver a fatal blow to Kemal's forces. Around the same time, the French, who also occupied a part of Anatolia, pulled out, and this would release thousands of Turkish soldiers who could now fight the Greeks. The Hellenic army commenced a withdrawal, which turned out to be a rout. While retreating, they razed many villages to the ground. Greeks living in the area withdrew with them out of fear of Turkish reprisals. A dramatic climax took place in the city where it all began, Smyrna. The city caught fire, and countless Greeks and Armenian civilians threw themselves in the water to escape the flames and escape the Turkish army. The whole disaster in Greece is known as the Asia Minor Catastrophe, or just the Catastrophe. Under the auspices of the newly formed League of Nations, peace talks were held in the Swiss town of Lausanne in 1922. Several things were decided: international recognition for the Republic of Turkey. The most pressing issue was how to deal with the humanitarian crisis that was caused by the conflict. By the end of 1922, around 800,000 Greeks had fled from Anatolia. Some 250,000 were leaving eastern Thrace. The Turkish government made clear the refugees were not welcome to return. So, the following was agreed upon. As from the 1st of May 1923, there shall take place a compulsory exchange of Turkish nationals of the Greek Orthodox religion established in Turkish territory and of Greek nationals of Muslim religion established in Greek territory. These persons shall not return to live in Turkey or Greece respectively without the authorization of the Turkish government or of the Greek government respectively. So basically, the Turks that were living in Greece had to go to Turkey, and the Greeks that were living in Anatolia had to come to Greece. And the distinction was made on religion, Islam versus Christianity. Some exceptions were made. The Greeks in Constantinople, now Istanbul, would remain. And also the Muslims living in Western Thrace did not have to go to Turkey. But as for the others, they had to go. And they were not asked for their opinions. They were forced to. During a 2-week period in early 1923, some 750,000 Greek refugees were dumped like cattle from all kinds of vessels at the harbors at Piraeus and Thessaloniki. From eastern Thrace, tens of thousands more came westwards, bringing their belongings with them. The League of Nations refused to give loans for the accommodation for over 1 million Greek refugees from Anatolia and Thrace. The Red Cross, its American committee, established a refugee commission to take care of the relief. They closed down their operation in June 1923 and worked almost entirely on donations. Greece was now bankrupt. Apart of economic problems, there were social ones too. The Red Cross reported the refugees coming from different parts of Asia Minor and the shores of the Black Sea exhibited a variety of characteristics and attitudes. Those from Inner Anatolia, living in the midst of Turks and Kurds, had the characteristics of Asiatic people, being backward, submissive, and timid. People from hundreds of different communities had, apart from their Christian faith and vague affinity to Greece, not much in common. The Greek authorities divided the semi-barren land in tiny plots, and the region around Thessaloniki became the center of this plan to transform swampy ground in farmland. Even by Balkan standards, the first years of the newcomers were very miserable. They also experienced resentment that lingers till this very day. Turkey experienced also its hardships, but that's something for another video. I actually covered quite a bit of Greece history on my channel, so if you're interested, I got a playlist for you. It's right here. Considering supporting me, subscribe and like this video, share it with your friends. I want to thank you for watching and best wishes from Thessaloniki in Greece.